As always, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. Rich is making another video about XRP today. We're going to talk about XRP, and I'm going to start with this from the National Cryptocurrency Association. The SEC has improved new rules that allow exchanges like NASDAQ and each ETF separately. For E means crypto may be able to access tools that already feel like they explain ETFs. I hope everyone is having a great day today, wherever they may be in this great world. I merely want to show you the highlights. I'm not going knee. Therefore, ETFs with a crypto focus function similarly, except they use digital assets instead. Thus, spot crypto funds maintain cold storage and actual coins. As a result, every share fluctuates in tandem with the coin's market price. As they sell those clients, real tokens will be maintained in cold storage for all those spot XRP ETFs. Therefore, those can significantly raise the price. Crypto ETFs that are based on regulated futures do not hold. Instead, they purchase or sell the price at a future date. Over time, these contracts may cause minor tracking gaps. Blockchain equities ETFs invest in the businesses that are constructing the DeFi ecosystem, including as miners, chip manufacturers, and cryptocurrency exchanges, instead of tokens. Next, the multi-asset digital economy exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which combine blockchain-related equities and cryptocurrency futures with the goal of achieving more upward movement than wide stock indexes, but more stable swings than pure play coins. The most significant ETFs to enter this market are the spot XRP ETFs. Additionally, a huge number of them are scheduled to launch in October. However, I just wanted to let you know about the various cryptocurrency-based ETFs that are available. According to Hunter Horsley, credit and borrowing will be the major cryptocurrency narrative in 6 to 12 months. Over the coming years, its growth will be rapid. Two vectors. One is that rather than selling, consumers can borrow against the approximately $4 trillion in cryptocurrency that is still increasing, and they will. The value of public stocks alone exceeds $60 trillion. As assets are tokenized in the US, a $7,000 stockholder will be able to borrow against it for the first time on the chain. Capital markets will change as a result of cryptocurrency. It's only the beginning. When it becomes possible for people to borrow against their cryptocurrency, they will never sell it again. Further removes the taxes upon its sale. In the years to come, and probably in the next year or two, everyone who sells into fiat will come to regret it. Because of what's going on now, every day the value of the dollar declines while the value of cryptocurrencies keeps increasing. Smoke is the source of this. As a technology that is reshaping global financial power, the Emerging Payments Association calls on the UK Parliament to take XRP into consideration for cross-border payment innovation. Policymakers in the UK are keeping an eye on XRP. A Ripple-based messaging system supported by XRP, the Ripple token, allows for real-time message and fund transmission. This has the advantage of eliminating the need for banks at either end of a transaction to provide the required liquidity. The strength of smart contracts is demonstrated, for instance, by the capacity to generate letters of credit that are 100% guaranteed. It's documented, of course. Even though everyone in the room, including the elders, knows that XRP is the way of the future, retail investors continue to try to refute the fact that XRP will be used globally. And then there's this. Thus, Ripple was in the UK for a meeting with Scott Bessent, the US Treasurer and Chancellor. Trump was with King Charles at the same time. As the executive director of Ripple put it, to set a template for global collaboration. Now, both of those things just happened. Dan Katz, the head of staff for Scott Bessent, is appointed to the second position by the IMF. This cannot be made up. Do you really believe the IMF is unaware of the strategy at this point? Everything is currently being positioned. You know, Scott Bessent, the treasurer, believes that a completely new digital dollar will be introduced as the US's stable currency. Do you recall how we discussed the treasury dollar's arrival in 2025 last year? That's probably already in the works. That, in my opinion, is already underway and will be a digital dollar backed by assets. The Fed and the present US dollar will be the anchors for the remaining stable coins that they are attaching to all of the debt. That's my working theory, but that's the way I believe this is going. However, when you see everything coming together in this way, you can't make it up. This is not a coincidence. This was planned. According to Julio Moreno, head of research at CryptoQuant, ETFs might absorb 1 to 4% of the circulating quantity of XRP in the first year. At current values, 600 million to 2.4 billion tokens are worth $1.80 to $7.2 billion. Real XRP will be held in those ETFs. Furthermore, that might reduce the amount of circulating supplies. I frequently discuss how we are headed towards shortage. Now you can witness everything taking place in real time. These ETFs are scheduled to launch concurrently. Additionally, there are businesses producing XRP treasuries. Furthermore, a significant amount of XRP is also lost. I will discuss that in a moment. However, this follows the Shane Ellis theory. According to the Shane Ellis theory, which is a hypothetical idea within the XRP community, market forces and institutional demand may combine to cause the price of XRP to suddenly and dramatically soar to a high value such as $500 or more, or 589. What's going on now? The first indications of institutional demand are already apparent. Liquidity dynamics. According to the hypothesis, the price of XRP is not connected to its circulating quantity, but rather to the amount of liquidity required for institutional transactions. Larger transactions will necessitate a significantly higher XRP pricing. The price of XRP may increase significantly to meet the liquidity requirements of major financial institutions if they start using it for cross-border payments and need high-value transactions. Next is the low order book, which thus, according to the idea, the price could spike rapidly if a single buyer or group of purchasers place significant buy orders on exchanges with low order book depth. Lift constrained by sell orders is predicated on the idea that prices would have to rise because exchanges would not be able to satisfy the unexpected demand at the current levels. And what's happening at the moment? It appears that XRP is no longer available on Coinbase or Binance, closed ecosystem exchanges. The theory's proponents contend that financial institutions might use XRP in a closed ecosystem in which they trade among themselves and purchase XRP directly from exchanges or Ripple escrow. In this case, institutional demand would raise the price regardless of the potential lack of influence from regular investors. The speculative value comes next. The argument also rests on the notion that if XRP is widely used, its speculative value may increase as a result of FOMO, fear of missing out, and enhanced market visibility. Additionally, there was no discussion of the market cap multiplier at the time this idea was published. In those days, hardly one was even observing. Today, they are now examining that. Of course, there are arguments against every theory. With the release of this theory, when it came to institutions getting involved with cryptocurrency, we were not where we are now. Companies were not purchasing and keeping cryptocurrency at that time. ETFs were non-existent at the time. Thus far, everything is unfolding in accordance with this hypothesis. We'll see whether it persists. According to data, 10.7 million XRP are idle in more than 500,000 wallets. Thus, these are wallets that only contain XRP and nothing has happened to them in a long time. In 2013, you had to have 20 XRP for every wallet you made. Then it fell. A wallet could be opened with just 10 XRP. It's just one today. And I believe that occurred because they were already aware that the price of XRP will keep rising. In order to obtain a wallet, let's imagine that XRP was at, say, $100. You could have to pay $100 right now to maintain an active wallet. In the past, obtaining a wallet would have cost you $2,000 when XRP was 20. Even at 10, it would have cost you $1,000 once XRP reached 3 digits. Even at the current prices, you know you're going to acquire an XRP wallet, and you need at least 20 at $3. So the fact that it only requires 1 XRP currently is much better than it was in the past. Therefore, at today's costs, opening a wallet will cost you $60. People would eventually be priced out as a result. Interoperability with Ripple is made possible by Singapore's alignment with ISO 20022. Furthermore, interoperability that has long been dominated by antiquated systems like SWIFT is made easier by Singapore's conformity with ISO 20022, the same communication standard that Ripple supports. Ripple is a possibly better option for time-sensitive cross-border payments because it accomplishes this with nearly instantaneous transactions. Do you know why Ripple will be preferred over SWIFT? Because before they hang up the phone, customers want that payment to be there. They no longer want to wait for that transaction to appear on the other end for hours or days. And it's not getting better even now. SWIFT. The fact that RippleNet has settlement is another way that it differs from SWIFT. XRP could be your compromise. SWIFT is not someone you can settle with. The process takes a long time,